We have Ashok Dhawale, National President of the All India Kisan Sabha, India's largest farmers' organization, which has spearheaded the farmers' movement for over 3 decades. He is a member of the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, which led the struggle to repeal the 3 contentious farm laws introduced by the Government of India, which were later repealed. Mr. Dhawale, a Politburo member of the CPIM, has a ringside view of the agrarian scene, which is particularly significant given that every election we have farm distress coming to the forefront. Vikas and Vinaya together will be in conversation, Mr. Dhawale.
Hello and welcome to the Hindu poll arena, Mr. Dhawale. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. In Maharashtra, there's a irrigation and agriculture and politics are almost interconnected at the hip. It is one of the most industrial states, it still has a large population dependent on farming and other ancillary activities. So I wanted to understand first of all from you, sir, की आजची सिच्युएशन काय आहे, म्हणजे परिस्थिती फार्मर्स मध्ये कशी चालली आहे?
And you have titled this discussion, "Where are the farmers in this election?" So I would like to say that the farmers are at the center of this election. They were at the center of the election in Maharashtra in the Lok Sabha. And that was one of the main reasons why the BJP NDA got a very big drubbing in the Lok Sabha elections, as all of us know. The India bloc, the Mahavikas Aghadi, won 31 out of the 48 seats in the Lok Sabha in the 2024 elections. And the NDA was left with a very poor 17. All those issues, actually, which were as a result of the election, which were the main causes, out of several, but some of them were the anger of the onion farmers that all of us know, the anger of the farmers of the cotton belt, soyabean belt, sugarcane belt, the milk farmers who are spread all over Maharashtra. So therefore, you see, today also, all those issues remain very much permanently in Maharashtra. For the last several years, I would like to say on behalf of the All India Kisan Sabha, of which I am an activist, and also on behalf of the Communist Party of India, Marxist, which also I represent, that Maharashtra has had a very big tragedy of being the state in India with the largest number of farmer suicides for the last several years. It is not something about which any of us can be proud. In fact, all of us, policy makers, all the people who are responsible for this, I think it is time that they should hang their heads in shame that Maharashtra has been brought to such a situation today. And therefore, what are the causes for this? I would just like to say right now how it is connected with the Vidhan Sabha elections that we are facing. I'll give you 3 or 4 examples very briefly, because I know there is a paucity of time. Number 1, now you see, for example, the whole of Vidarbha, the whole of Marathwada, also many other parts of Maharashtra, we have soyabean and cotton as some of the main crops over there. There was a time a year ago when soyabean was selling at 11,000 rupees per quintal. In Maharashtra, farmers were getting 11,000 rupees. What did the BJP government do? They imported soya pen, and as a result of that import, the farmers who were getting 11,000 rupees per quintal started getting only 4,000 rupees per quintal. Tremendous kind of a loss. And what is the MSP for soyabean, which the central government itself has said? 4,892, nearly 5,000. And out of that, the soyabean farmer is today getting less than 4,000 rupees per quintal. So every quintal he is losing nearly 8 to 900 rupees. Similarly for cotton, the MSP declared by the central government today is anything between 7,100 to 7,500 rupees per quintal. But today, what are the farmers in Maharashtra getting? It is now the cotton season. The harvesting is starting of cotton, as you know, around Diwali, etc., Dasara, Diwali. That is the time when the cotton is actually harvested. Today, farmers are getting less than 6,000 rupees per quintal for cotton. So again, they are being shortchanged by more than 1,000 rupees per quintal. Now, what is going to be the result of this, you tell me? In Vidarbha, in Marathwada, naturally people are going to blame this national government, that is the BJP government at the center, also the BJP-led government in Maharashtra, the Mahayuti government, which is totally following the same dictates of the Modi government at the center, and therefore all over Vidarbha, Marathwada, also parts of western Maharashtra, where there are some other crops, like for example sugarcane. Sugarcane, the FRP, they are not giving anything near the remunerative price. Similar milk farmers, you have in western Maharashtra large lakhs and lakhs of dairy farmers, and they are there all over Maharashtra also, including Vidarbha, Marathwada, etc. Now, instead of 34 rupees that they were getting per liter, now it has come down to 24 some time back, and 10 rupees per liter when the farmer loses. That is a very important source of income subsidiary. That also is gone. What do you expect that the milk farmers will do? Onion farmers. Again, the government allowed the export from Gujarat. They stopped the export of onions from Maharashtra. All the prices of onions collapsed in Maharashtra. And therefore, you will see in the last Lok Sabha elections, they lost in the entire onion belt. The BJP NDA. Today also the same situation is there. Tomatoes. Tomato big, you see, even today, tomatoes are just lying on the roads now, because the prices have fallen so badly. My point I'm trying to make is that these are some of the very important reasons why, in spite of all their populist schemes, etc., which the Mahayuti government is trying to sell desperately, people know what exactly they are facing. There is a question of natural calamities also, and in natural calamities, crop insurance, which actually the PM Kisan Fasal Bima Yojana, that is the Prime Minister's crop insurance scheme, hardly anybody is getting the benefits. So these are all the things. The irrigation, you talked about irrigation just now very correctly, regarding the whole question of power, electricity. Now you have big leaders in the Mahayuti who are very clearly responsible for the 70,000 crore irrigation scam in Maharashtra. I don't want to name them. समझने वालों को इशारा काफी है, ये ऐसा कहते हैं. So there's no point in naming. And we also know who are the people who a few years ago swore them in as deputy chief minister and who actually removed all the cases against them, all this irrigation scam, etc. So all this is known to Maharashtra. So that's why what our point is, power, the privatization of power, etc., that is going on. Power is not available when they require it. Tremendous costs are coming. Now they are trying to install smart meters in some places. People are resisting, farmers are resisting, even ordinary people, because that's there in the city areas also. So all these are the issues that are there. One or two more issues regarding farmers, let me say in the same thing. You see, one extremely key issue is the question of land. And I think more important than land, there is nothing that can be more important than land for a farmer. For a farmer, land is, in a sense, like his own mother. It's like his own mother. We have seen this all over Maharashtra. We have seen this all over India. And today, what is happening is that this Mahayuti government is bent upon actually land acquisition left, right, and center. Big highways being made only to help the contractors, being only made to help this Mahayuti government bigwigs so that they get a cut in the commission, etc. Corruption is absolutely beyond all leaps and bounds. And as a result of it, it is the farmers, thousands and lakhs of farmers who are being actually dispossessed of their land. This is another very big source of tremendous anger among the farmers in various parts of Maharashtra. In Adivasi farmers, where a large chunk is there of Adivasi farmers, Dalit farmers, in all these sections, you have things like forest lands. The Forest Rights Act was implemented from 2006, 2008 onwards. But today, the All India Kisan Sabha know a few years ago, we led that iconic Kisan Long March from Nasik to Mumbai, which went viral all over the country, in fact, all over the world. And what was one of the main reasons for it? One of the main reasons was this: tribals' forest land should be given in their names. That was the main point. The other main point was loan waiver, which they had to do finally. And the other third point was the MSP. So these were some of the main issues of the Kisan Long March. Just before that, there was a whole 11-day farmers strike in Maharashtra, which also several organizations together led. So that is the thing. And the last point I would like to say, then you can ask any questions, that is regarding agricultural workers. The landless, we consider them also to be very much a part of the peasantry. Regarding that, the Manarega Act, which the earlier UPA government made, a very important act in which the left played a very important role, in the Forest Rights Act, in the Manarega Act, that everybody knows, in the Right to Information Act, all this. So therefore, about this also today, the Mahayuti government and the BJP government, the center, is totally finishing off the Manarega. The number of days of work, instead of 100, they have come down to less than 40. The kind of wages they are getting, absolutely nothing. Pensions are not being given. These are some of the major issues faced by the farmers and the agricultural workers of Maharashtra. And they are certainly going to give their reactions in the hustings at the time of the elections on the 20th of November. And their verdict will, I will tell you a guarantee of this, will be against the Mahayuti or the Mahavikas Aghadi.
That's a very emphatic point you're making about the farmers' verdict. But would you say that since the Lok Sabha election, the center has done some corrective action? The export ban on onions, they reduced some of the conditions, they reduced the 40% export duty or minimum export price. But yeah, we are not seeing export shipments still in the kind of volumes that used to take place. But there has been some corrective action, and some economists say that when inflation is very high and Lok Sabha elections are near, the government played to the consumers' interests at the expense of the farmers. And now when local elections are due and they've learned their lesson from the Lok Sabha losses, for instance, in the onion belt, they are now trying to correct course and, favor the farmers a little more, at least in terms of optics. So, but this is one, do you think that farmers recognize this small gestures that have been made for onions, for instance, even rice export, some of the conditions have been reduced? Secondly, what's to stop going forward, once the elections are over? This consumer farmer balance is a difficult one for governments to strike. And also, when you change your trade policies, whether it's import or export frequently, it's difficult for a farmer to plan what do I sow next time, what is going to get me the most money. So how do we deal with these dilemmas. And first, if you can answer the whether there is some change in mood since. Yeah.
See, regarding whatever changes that the government has announced, let me say very clearly, they are just cosmetic changes. They are cosmetic changes and they are not having any impact on the ground. You see, after all, how will farmers react? Farmers will react on the basis of what is their own experience on the ground. And they are not seeing that kind of experience there, which is bettering their lot. As I told you about the soyabean and cotton and all the other crops, you see, they are seeing that we are not getting the prices that whatever the government may announce, we are just not getting it. And we are actually running into a loss. So this is one thing on which they know how much they have spent. They know how much they are getting. So therefore, that one point is there. The second point which you said, that is a correct point. But I have got a reply to that. You see, yes, you are right. You are right. It is difficult to strike a balance between the producers and the consumers. You know, like the farmers and the consumers. It is difficult to strike a balance. But there is a way. There is a way. You see, we have studied the All India Kisan Sabha, the Communist Party of India, Marxist has studied all these things. We have come to the conclusion that both the producers and the consumers can be helped. Justice can be done to both of them by increasing the subsidy. You see, in the central budget, union budget that was placed after the Lok Sabha elections, what did they do? They slashed fertilizer subsidy for farmers and they slashed food subsidy for the consumers. That means they have attacked both of them. They've attacked farmers also and they've attacked consumers also. Our point is, there is an alternative. You cut down on the super profits of the corporates. That's our clear opinion. The super profits of the corporates, you cut down on and you help both the producer, that is the farmer, and the consumer. It can be done. Today we are seeing the situation. For example, as I said, lakhs of farmers have committed suicide all over the country. The total number in the last about 20-22 years is about 4 lakhs. Largest number is in Maharashtra, as I said. But you know, the central government has not given a single naya paisa of loan waiver in the last 10 years to a single farmer in India. The central government. Whereas 15 lakh crore rupees of loan waiver, writing of loans has been done for a handful of crony corporates who are very close to the BJP NDA government at the center and who are extremely close to the Mahayuti government in Maharashtra. Our point is that you see, you stop these policies. You stop these pro-corporate policies. You start taking pro-people policies. That is our main point in this. Another one or two small points I would just like to flag. You see, one thing what is there is all this money that comes for the elections. Today we are going to see tremendous, गंगा बह जाएगी अभी पूरे देश में, अभी पूरे महाराष्ट्र में और झारखंड में, देश में हमने देखा. So now you see, the point is that tremendous corruption is going to be there. Tremendous money. And this money now, some of it will go to the people. But what happened 2.5 years ago when this Mahayuti government came to power? You know what this government is called all over Maharashtra? In Marathi, it is called Khoke Sarkar. Khoke means 1 crore is called Khoka in Maharashtra. You see, it's a slang actually. But that is what the government is known as, because they broke the Shiv Sena. They broke the NCP. They tried to break the Congress party also. They did not fully succeed. But even then, a former chief minister of the Congress went over there. We saw all that. And you see, people who are talking in this forum about how, how people should react, etc. You see, it's very whole of Maharashtra, whole of India knows why these people went to the breakaway faction of the Shiv Sena and NCP. They know it is simply because, number one, tremendous amount of money changed hands, and number two, that there was tremendous threats from the ED, from the CBI, from the income tax department. This is known to every that you see with some schemes, etc. But it was not going to happen so soon.
Right.
Surely I can tell you.
So, what's the assurance you see when you look at the election manifestos, as in when the two alliances unveil them? What assurances do you feel are necessary for farmers? Whether it's even if the MVA comes back to power, riding on the anger of farmers that you're talking about, do you see enough in the election manifestos? I mean, for farmers' interests to be addressed?
See, what we would like for, what the farmers of Maharashtra would like, very simple things. I'll just tell you the main points, bullet points, because we have less time.
Right.
Bullet points is number one, they would like, number one, a reduction in the cost of production. A reduction in the cost of production means what? Means control over the prices of seeds, fertilizers, insecticides, diesel, power, water, irrigation. That's one. So once you bring down the price cost of production, then naturally they require, number two, a remunerative price for their produce. And this, one of the great things in India, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan was the father of the Green Revolution in India. He had said in that National Commission on Farmers report that you see every farmer in India must get 1.5 times the comprehensive cost of production as a guaranteed MSP, minimum support price. Very, very seminal recommendation. If you do that, you know, a lot of problems in Maharashtra and in the country will go away so far as farmers are concerned. Third thing is natural calamities, global warming. All this is playing havoc on the entire agricultural scene, is playing havoc all over the world, as we know. And there, you see, for that, the natural calamities thing, the crop insurance is a very, very important umbrella, which you require to make much more effective. If the farmer loses, he must have the guarantee that he'll be able to get. The third thing is that the land question, which I told you, redistribution of land, land reforms, all this important, this unnecessary land acquisition. I can understand land acquisition for public purposes. I'm not a fundamentalist. I can understand for public purposes, but that also should be done according to the LARR law, which was enacted in 2013, 2013. After a lot of consultation, that thing was made by the UPA government. Now, the NDA government is just throwing that to the winds. So therefore, all this thing is there. Pensions must be given. You know, these things are what is very much required today. And these are the things. Irrigation, power. You know, Maharashtra, it's a shocking fact that today, when Maharashtra was born in 1960, the amount of land, that is cultivable land, under irrigation in 1960, that is about 64 years ago, was only 6%. 6% of Maharashtra. Today, after 64 years, and after lakhs and lakhs of crores were spent on irrigation by various governments, today, you know what is the amount of land which has come under irrigation in Maharashtra today? It is only 18%. 18%. In spite of lakhs of crores going, where has that money gone? Where has that money gone? That is our question. Today in India, the average is more than 40%. More than 40% land is under irrigation. So all these issues, you see, they need to be tackled. This is the wish list of the farmers of Maharashtra, and that is for what they will fight. Certainly, we have got earlier loan waiver. Two governments were forced to give 40,000 crore rupees as loan waiver. But why? Not on their own. Not on their own. As a result of farmers' struggles, the 11-day strike of the farmers all joined, so many organizations came together.
Right.
The Kisan Long March by the Kisan Sabha. And then, of course, as someone mentioned here, the struggle against the 3 farm laws in Delhi against the Modi government. That also, after a year of struggle, they had to take back. So we are very confident if the farmers struggle, fight for their rights, we have to win. If the workers struggle for their rights, the working class will also win. And our point is that the workers and farmers, who are the main laboring classes of India, they should come together, they should unite, and they are the ones who actually build the riches of India. They are the ones who should combine and go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Dhawale, because you very succinctly explained what you will be looking for in manifestos, not just in Maharashtra, but overall across the country. And we hope some of the political parties do take this feedback in and try and incorporate some of these suggestions. You know, apart from all the points that you've raised, there is a very interesting Reserve Bank of India study that came out recently, which said that, you know, even when it comes to farming products, be it tomatoes or potatoes, onions, rice, there is a very small portion of the actual price that consumers pay, which goes to the farmer's pocket. So for instance, for tomatoes, I think they get only 33% of the actual price you and I would pay as consumers. So would you say that there is some reform needed also in the intermediaries and the supply chain?
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right in this, sir. That is one of our major points. The intermediaries, that is the small the traders, etc., lobby. Small traders, we are not blaming them. Small traders, they don't make much. But it is that big trader lobby which is there inside. That is what actually loots the farmers also and the consumers also. And the laws are made such by the government so that it is these middlemen who are actually gaining at the expense of both. So your point is absolutely well taken. Yes, certainly these middlemen and their influence, their profiteering needs to be definitely controlled. There is no doubt about it. And for that, laws need to be changed. More radical laws need to be made, whereby this kind of loot by the middlemen of both the farmers and the consumers is also brought under control.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dhawale. If you don't mind, may I'll take a question from the audience, because, having heard you, I'm sure it must have triggered some new questions in people's minds. So
Sure.
if anyone has any question for Mr. Dhawale, we can simply. Suchitra is not here. All right. So, sir, I think we have a few more minutes with sir. What time is it? Sir, one other thing I wanted to understand was, sorry, we'll wait for the audience, because we are tracking our social media feed and seeing if there are fresh questions coming in.
Sure.
And you also, of course, you've seen the UPA function, and you remember the farmer suicide was a burning issue even in the 2006-7 era, when, Manmohan Singh took cognizance of it. I remember he visited the area, and he also appointed a committee under Dr. Radhakrishnan to look at agricultural indebtedness, and that is what led to the first. So that is when we saw the first set of agricultural farm loan waivers in Maharashtra and the rest of the country. Do you think there is a need to, given that suicides, like you said, continue to happen, and agricultural indebtedness is continuing to be a nationwide phenomenon, do you think there's a need for the center to revisit and reappoint a fresh panel to look at the state of affairs today?
You see, what I frankly feel is that instead of a new panel will only be a kind of a sort of, procrastination mechanism. It is very clear the Sanyukta Kisan Morcha, about which you are aware, it's a body of more than 500 farmers organizations in India, which led the Delhi struggle against the 3 farm laws. So what we have said is, we have demanded that there is no need of a new commission. Everybody knows that indebtedness is growing. Everybody knows that farmers are committing suicide. There are 2 things that the central government needs to do immediately. Very simple. It's a very clear thing. That's our 2 major fundamental demands. Number 1, the central government needs to give a complete loan waiver for the agricultural workers, for the poor farmers, and for the middle farmers. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm not counting rich farmers at all. I'm not saying rich farmers and landlords should be given any loan waiver. Not at all, because they can manage. But the poor farmer, the middle farmer, and the agricultural laborer needs to be given a complete loan waiver, one-time loan waiver. At the same time, to see that they again don't go into the quagmire of debt, they require to implement the seminal recommendation of the Dr. Swaminathan Commission, the National Commission on Farmers, of giving MSP guarantee of prices at 1.5 times the comprehensive cost of production. If these 2 things are done together, I'm telling you, a lot of agrarian distress will be mollified. A lot of agrarian distress. There are other reasons also. As I told you, land issues,
Right,
pension issues, etc. But this, if they can do, I think that will have a big step forward. And that is what the government must do, but they won't do it. The NDA BJP government will not do it. I'm prepared to bet my last penny on this. I'm prepared to bet my last penny that the Mahayuti government will do no such thing. Why? Because they are all beholden to the corporate lobby, etc. One last point, sir. One last point which I would like to make. This is about farmers, etc.
Right.
I think it is very important in this election that the people remain united and together, regardless of caste, regardless of religion, regardless of language. I think all kinds of things like communalism, casteism, etc.,
Right.
people need to rise above it, and people need to really vote as one, as workers, as farmers, as agricultural workers, as women, as youth, as students. And they hope to this thing for a better future. And that is what their main thing, as it was in the Lok Sabha, defense of the Constitution of India, of which the chief architect was Dr. Ambedkar. That also remains a very, very important issue in the election in the Vidhan Sabha also.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. That's a very well summarized situation.
Sure.
Stay in touch on farmers' issues, sir.
Sure,
Thank you so much for your time.
Congratulations to the Hindu. Congratulations to the Hindu, and congratulations to you and Vinaya.
Thank you.
Both of you. Huh?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.